A very warm good evening and welcome to Sunday Live right here on SABC 1. I am your host, Dumelo Mutotwani. Well, tonight we're discussing black tax, and the phrase is a colloquial reference to a range of experiences where disadvantaged groups, especially young black people, find themselves having to clear hurdles to get access to certain opportunities such as jobs, promotions, information, as well as quality education. Moreover, young black people are expected to take care of their families as soon as they start working. Well, in a discussion on the National Draft Youth Policy held at the Constitutional Hill back in February of this year, participants identified black tax as a major problem facing young South Africans. It is an everyday reference to the experience of structural discrimination that remains embedded. Well, before we get into our discussion tonight, let's hear what young people had to say about this.
Definitely. I mean, if I had all the money to myself, then I don't have to spend it with anyone. But I mean, I enjoy spending money with them.
During the festive season, there's a lot of things that you want to buy, a lot of things you want to do. Spend. You don't think about it till January comes, then you realize that you spent a lot of money.
If I have a little bit extra that I can give to extra family members, definitely I can. But if I can't, unfortunately, I can't. So it depends on whether I have it or not.
Yes and no. Yes, because, I mean, it's extended family. It's not something that I've budgeted for in the time. And yes, no, because it's family again, you know. Family is important. I guess it's good to be spending on family. But if it's not budgeted for, then, I mean, then it's a different story. So, yeah, yes and no.
I think it's something that very few people speak about. It's something that's under-theorized. It's something that not even the financial sector in South Africa has been able to wrap their heads around. And I think it's a conversation that now is beginning to go out into the public from a situation where it's always been something that people speak about in hushed tones or rather sort of deal with in their own silences.
Well, our poll question this evening is taking responsibility, caring, and espousing the values of Ubuntu a form of tax? SMS yes or no to the number 34065, and you can join our conversation on our social media pages. On Facebook, we are Sunday Live on SABC1. You can tweet at Sunday Live SABC1 or tweet at T_Mututwani, and don't forget to hashtag Sunday Live SA. Now, please be warned that we are not live tonight, so therefore you can continue the conversation on our social media. However, of course, we will just engage with you there, and we'll keep our conversation going online. But in studio with us, of course, to take us through this discussion, we're joined by Eunice Sibiya, who's the Head of Consumer Education at FNB. Ma'am, thank you so much for your time. Welcome.
You're welcome.
Now, black tax, I did mention in my opening link, it is a colloquial phrase for, you know, what most young people, young black people particularly experience as, you know, that hurdle of having to take care of family, when you start your job, having to sort of, you know, get access to information, promotion, quality education. But is it just that?
That definition, in fact, the origin of the word black tax is now modern. It now has a name. In the past, it was just a behavior, an expectation rather, from our parents to say, Eunice, you finish school now, we put you through to school. At the point where you start working, there was that unspoken expectation to say, you now have an income. It is kind of expected of you to help within the household, financially speaking, and maybe otherwise, but I think we're dwelling more on the financial aspect of it. It was just an unspoken expectation. And it was also kind of me indirectly saying thank you, because now I have an income. I can extend the house, I can make the home better, I can take care of my siblings, maybe finishing off school, maybe take the burden away from my parents so that they can also do, you know, other things, maybe take care of other financial responsibilities that they perhaps weren't able to. They had to park certain things while they were maybe looking after, you know, paying the tuition for me at university or during school. Yeah. I'm just speaking broadly. But I think over the years, it has evolved to something almost formal. It now has a name. There's, again, the growth from unspoken expectations to some instances where the children at home would be told to say, your responsibility now that you are working, you'll do the groceries, you pay water and lights, when you get me a car, and when you pay Sbongile's school fees, and when you do this, and when you do
It's
that.
your responsibility.
It is now your responsibility. Can we just spread the burden? I want to say there's nothing wrong with that, so long as there's an agreement. Okay, so it's not dictated upon to me to say whether you like it or not, whether you can or not.
Yeah.
Because that's where the biggest problem comes. And it then turns this whole thing that is meant to mean well within the family become a gripe.
Sort of like pressure.
It puts pressure, and I do it bitterly because now I can't do other things that I want because I am told Uncle Sipo lost his job. Now, Mangwane Miriam, Uncle Sipo's wife, Hannah Grocer.
Yeah.
Can you just see to finish? So it's those kind of stretched expectations that then makes this whole exercise painful for me.
And is it more of a racial stereotype? Is it something that happens mostly in more the black community than in other races in the country?
We would be tempted to say yes because obviously of the population of South Africa. You know, there's more of us than other races. But I've heard of it happening in other races. We spoke about it in the office and other people were saying, but I'm white, I'm Afrikaans. As soon as I got my job, I had to help at home. Yeah. I told my mom, I'll do your groceries from now on. Can you take a break and do other things? So we're calling it black tax because now it's become bigger and more evident within the black population because now there's more of us, and the shape that the economy has adopted. There's more of you guys doing more sophisticated jobs, much nicer. You now fall into the middle income bracket, classy kind of thing. Whereas when we started back then, you started very low and there wasn't much of a hoo-ha with your income because the income wasn't, not anything to write home about. But we had to make means because I understood where we come from. Remember, the income was quite strained. In some families, it was only the father that's working. The mom was a housewife. So as soon as I'm the eldest at home. And I've experienced that. And I did it gladly. When I started working, I bring, the parcels, the groceries. It was, I'm working, I've grown. I was happy to do that.
And is it just financial implications that come with black tax?
Not only financial implications, there are other forms of responsibilities that now the youth of today are expected to engage with. Some of them, I've seen those that maybe leave home to say, I want to have a place of my own, a flat, or I want to buy a house. Now, because Auntie Sbongile's daughter from Kroonstad wants to come to Johannesburg to look for a job, Tumelo Otlanka Sarah, she will stay with you. It is just that expectation, unspoken, and it is expected of you to say, oh, okay, come, Sarah.
Right.
Because in most cases, I feel there isn't a engaging conversation. So I feel my parents don't understand what my plans are. I have plans of my own now that I'm employed.
Right.
As the youth. And maybe I haven't had a decent conversation with my parents, or maybe I have told them, but they're also looking at the bigger need of the family.
Yeah.
So if Auntie Sarah's child is in trouble, yes, you told us that this is how your budget stands and you can help us in this way and the other way. We have a need here, child. Can you just not adore? Right. So it's those kind of, and our parents mean well.
Do they really mean well? Because sometimes
in most cases they do.
They will pull that, but we raised you. We brought you up, we took you to school, we fed you, we clothed you. How dare you even question that?
That is why I say it has some guilt and some gripe in it, because once they start throwing those phrases, the youth now think, Kanti, was this now, were we buttering?
Yeah.
Where is there a trade now that, because you brought me up and you took me to school, now it's payback time.
Yeah.
And if I do it willingly and I can afford to do that, I wouldn't have a problem. It's when maybe it's not spoken, it's not, there's no agreement on understanding. And some parents feel that we're not going to have a meeting here.
No.
I raised you, I told you that you need to help wherever help is needed. Can you just buy meal for Mewako next door, because last night they went to bed without food. And whether you have the money for meal, Mama doesn't care, ignorantly. Okay, because they're like, what? So some of them come from that school of not understanding the budgeting side of things, the financial management that we always preach that we should all embark on and keep doing, be disciplined about. And they're thinking, just a bag of meal. You don't have money to buy a bag of meal.
Yeah.
You earn well. Look at you. Just look at you today. You don't have money to buy.
Those pressures.
I didn't raise you like that.
Alrighty then, well, let's leave it right there, Sis Eunice. We're going to come back and continue with our conversation right here on Sunday Live. I need you to be a part of it. Go to our social media on Facebook. We are Sunday Live on SABC1. Tweet me at @T_Mututwane. Don't forget to hashtag Sunday Live SA. Are you a victim of black tax, or do you think black tax ke ubuntu man? Let's stop labeling it. So I need to hear from you. We'll be right back.
Same applies to the issue of black tax. I think we all have an understanding what that financial responsibility to the household, the purpose and the function that it serves, and how far it necessarily goes. So I don't think it's something that people are unhappy to be doing. But I think we also need to be honest and say, you know, expending your money in that way, in sort of engaging in non-sort of nuclear household responsibility, has significant implications for you, for your savings and investment expenditure, and in the long term for the intergenerational transfer of those savings and investment, and in particular wealth, to the next generation.
Welcome back to Sunday Live. If you have just joined us, we are discussing black tax right here on Sunday Live. And if you are a victim of black tax, or if you feel that black tax is just a way of helping at home, we don't even know why we're having the discussion, please do engage with us on social media, on Facebook and Twitter. But we're still joined by Eunice Sibia from FNB, of course, just to have this discussion even further in studio. Sis Eunice, I want to talk about whether you feel that black tax tends to set young people back in terms of youth unemployment. I mean, if you are just newly employed and, you know, you're earning a good 5,000 rands a month, and then you think you can now try to, you know, your economy, your household economy, and then you have to take care of 10 more kids, how much does it set back the youth, if it does?
It's not only for the youth, but I think right now the focus is on the youth, for everyone and anyone. I think before I come to your question, we need to remember that I think some of it is also driven by the socio-economic environment of South Africa. The parents, most parents are maybe unemployed themselves. Some work half short hours and that kind of thing. We find ourselves having to depend on other people.
Yeah.
So you that are employed within the household, unfortunately, the burden falls upon you guys to say, are you able to help? You buy the groceries and you do this and that. So for the youth that have just started working, and you're excited thinking, yeah, I'm going to do this for myself. You have your own dreams. You're dreaming ahead to say financially. And then there's a list of expectations thrown at you. It may make them feel that, how am I ever going to survive? I mean, to succeed. How on earth am I going to succeed if I now have all these expectations?
So can it be avoided? Can black tax be avoided?
It can be avoided. On the one hand, I want to say, if we keep calling it black tax, it feels negative. And therefore, that's what people think. I shouldn't be. I'm not ready. Excuse me, not ready for it. However, if it's a situation that, you can see at home, this is the financial situation. Are you able to help? I sit down, I do my budget. Remember, financial management is very important. And part of it, for you to keep track of your finances, you need to budget regularly. So you'd sit down and look at your finances, look at your commitments. In your budget, you see, okay, there's a need at home. How much can I afford to help with? If it's 1,000 rand a month, you communicate to say, guys, I can give you 1,000 rand every single month.
Yeah.
What you do with it, you need to be smart yourselves, because I won't be able to give you 1 cent more. So every single month, I will transfer, or I will do XYZ worth of 1,000 rand. That's all that my budget allows me to do.
Because that also helps with avoiding debt, getting into debt, trying to go overboard in helping.
Oh, that is growing so painfully, you have no idea. Because now, I didn't budget for a request that's going to come mid-month from my family. Something got broken at home, or someone is sick, or they all of a sudden didn't have food. I get the phone call. I feel indebted to help at home. What do? Maybe I go swipe on my credit card, or I go quickly to take out a personal loan. I go to a mashonisa. So the level of over indebtedness will continue growing if these requests come when I didn't expect them financially.
Right.
So we're encouraging that, whether we give it a name, black tax, or we continue supporting at home, can we have conversations, financial conversations that says, as a household, this is how much we need. You drop your budget and you say, from my budget, this is how much I can help with. And let's see how far that goes. If it's not enough, and I really feel this is it, I cannot go beyond this, maybe the needs this side need to be remodified.
Right.
Or someone at home must also go out and find a temp job, help somewhere, just to bring in income to supplement. But let's work together, as opposed to this thing being one-sided and seen as a financial burden thrown at the youth, because that's why the rejection comes. That's where the rejection comes from, because the youth feel that, you know, this burden is just thrown at us. Have a conversation at home. Adults should understand that I am working as a youth. I earned so much. I'm going to have obligations, financial obligations. They should be less than my income. Remember, I should spend less than I earn. Okay?
Right.
Everybody, every individual, you should actually ideally spend less than you earn, ideally. Okay, so with us working towards that, if requests just come in time, I'm going to fall off.
It is. Yeah.
So let us understand that we are all working on a very tight budget. Where I can help, I will put it in my budget. Every single month, I will transfer, I will do those financial obligations that I know are needed. However, on the side where there is no income, let us help each other. We cannot be sitting back, folding our arms, and just waiting for Sipho and Busi and Dumelo to keep bringing and we're doing nothing.
Right.
Let us also stand up, take pride of ourselves and say, I want to be doing something for myself, whatever it is, but go and source some form of income for yourself. So the burden is not that heavy on anyone.
All righty then. Well, let's take a short break. When we come back, we're closing off our discussion, and we also have further solutions for you. We're discussing what government in place, of course, for young people. We do know that a draft national youth policy took place at the Constitutional Hill, where young people were consulted, and also what other financial institutions are doing to ensure that young people save, they avoid debts, and they're important literate. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Sunday Live right here on SABC 1. Well, this is our last segment for this topic, and we'd still like to hear from you. Thank you so much to everyone that is engaging on social media. Please continue doing so, and let's find out more recommendations from Sis Eunice regarding, how to avoid being in debt. Now, savings has to be #1 priority at the top of the list.
Yes, for everybody. For everybody, even for school-going children.
Yeah.
It's not only the income earners, school-going children, grant recipients,
pocket money,
and the working class. Everyone that receives some form of money, you call it an income, you call it pocket money, you call it whatever, we need to be savvy. We need to be smart with our finances. From the younger money, train them not to waste it. Knows that tomorrow, he gets 5 rand or 10, there's always some. So let's have a game to say, how much can you spend today? How much can you save? Half of it? 3/4?
Yeah.
Do you really need to? Just keep stretching. And us as parents must work towards saving the money for our children. It's nice to say you have a bank account in your name. As you grow, the money is growing. It already plants the seed in their heads. Say, I must save more because I already have a bank account in my name.
Right.
So whenever they see a rand or 2 rand, it's going to my bank account, mommy. So let's start having that conversation. The youth, whichever form of money you get, also do the same. Times are going to be even tougher. It's tough now, but it's going to get tougher. So if we don't embark on financial literacy right now, educating ourselves how to manage our own finances, it's not difficult. It requires understanding that that you need to have a balance between your income and your expenses. Ideally, I say again, the expenses should be less than your income, so that you can save and you can put money away for rainy days. If this side of debt is more than your income, trouble.
Save during festive season, because I think we overspend culturally during festive seasons. We just get, food, there's just sweets everywhere, Christmas clothes everywhere. And then come January, we're trying to make loads and trying to get people to make ends meet.
2 things I want to say to you, Dumelo. Yeah. I'm smiling. I want to say the cheese has moved. The economy has moved way ahead Okay, it's no longer like those days when we grew up. Christmas was the real thing.
Yeah.
Would have clothes to change this weekend and the next weekend until New Year's weekend, and there'll be food. No, it's no longer like that. The economy has changed. We need to move with the times. Yeah. We cannot live as if it's still 1962 or 1970. It's 2015. And the financial expectations of 2015 are totally different. Right. It requires that we be smart. We need to stick to the budget. Most people know about budgeting. We're taking it very lightly. Very. And this that we're facing now largely is the consequences of us not budgeting. Because we spend willy-nilly, our money has no direction, right. We don't know where the money is going, we don't sit down and say, here's the list of debts, here's the list of responsibilities, needs versus wants. We don't do those things. If I'm short this month, I'll get paid again next month, it's okay. What I couldn't do this month, we'll just wait for next month. Right. No, that's not the right way. Okay, so we can change, we can turn the wheel around. Most people are over-indebted now, and it is difficult to come out of debt. But if we are disciplined and we're willing to make sacrifices, because that's what is needed now, we need to make sacrifices. And you go,
yeah, because I'm thinking,
easy.
Well, I'm not trying to expose myself, but I'm thinking, no.
You're not alone. You're not alone. It is not easy.
Yeah.
And two, the way we've been managing our finances to date, whether young or old, has become habit. And we all know that breaking habit is a problem. So it requires effort, joint effort at home, you personally, your friends, your spouse. So if you were that girl that said, do me reception, Nando's, or your delivery is here, and tomorrow do me brings lunch, tinineling, stampali, whatever, it's none of your business, guys. Do me is now making a U-turn. Yes. She is on a plan. And
did you hear that, SABC? I am making a U-turn.
She's making a financial U-turn.
Right.
Can we just revisit the way we spend our money? Okay? Most of it can be put to very good use. Let us sit down and have financial goals, short, medium, and long term. If you're working towards those goals, it's not easy for you to keep falling by the wayside because you remember, like, no, 500 Rand must go to that. Right. 2,000 Rand must go to that. By the way, the end of 2016, I want to have done 1, 2, 3. If I carry on like this, I won't see that. And that will help us groom our discipline. That will help us reduce instant gratification, because that's also a problem.
That is a problem.
I see it, I want it, I like it.
Absolutely. And I see it on somebody else as well.
The card is mine. The pin is, I swipe now, I see tomorrow. That mentality and the ongoing behavior of not budgeting leads us to where we are today. Can we just change the way we view things, our finances, embark on a plan, have financial goals, budget as a family, budget to save, have an amount come out of your budget into saving or investing as if you're paying a debt. In that way, you sure know that it's going to be done. Festive season, bonus. Yeah. Can we please reduce debt if you cannot kill it altogether, so that you start on 2016
on a clean slate?
Good footing. Don't forget school fees. Don't forget school uniform. Don't forget stationery. Save it from your bonus so that you pay ahead next year. You start 2016 with a smile.
Thank you so much. Eunice Sibi, of course, you are from FNB. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Well, unfortunately, that's how we come to the end of it, but I think we all needed that financial management literacy and education so that we can save better and we can handle our finances better and make sure that we stop and alleviate debt and we make better financial decisions in terms of investing. And I know young people, it's something that, also Eunice spoke about instant gratification. Most young people struggle with that. So let's make better financial decisions. Well, thank you so much to my guest this evening. Thank you at home for joining me. My name is Tumelo Motutwani. Until next Sunday, good night.